Harvard costs up to $500,000 a year and is going to take you 4 years of your life. And if you're doing a business degree, one of the things you're going to learn is what I'm going to teach you in this video. And it's possibly one of the most important things you can learn in an entire business degree around marketing, getting attention, and influence and persuasion. It's so powerful that not only can you, it's so powerful that not only can you use it in your business, for example, to write better subject lines and have people excited to read your emails. You can use it on your social media posts to get more likes and followers and even more shares. And you can use it to identify which products are more likely to sell than others, how to make your current offer even better to make more sales. But you can use it in your personal life too, in all different areas, how to get a raise or a job promotion at work. You can use it to increase the number of matches you're getting on Tinder. You can even use it in handwritten birthday cards that you write to make them more persuasive, more memorable, and more exciting for the person reading it. And the great news about this formula is it's simple 4 letters you need to remember. I'm going to be getting exactly into what each of those letters are in this video and how you can use it in your business or your personal life. And I'm going to show you a live case study so you can see how to use it in your, how you can apply it and use it on a daily basis. And this formula is so powerful that whenever I'm consulting or working with a 6, 7, or 8-figure brand, it's one of the first things we start to look at. Even 9-figure brands benefit from this. As I said, this is something you're going to learn in a Harvard degree. And it's also basic enough that if you're a beginner or you've got a lot of experience, this is something you can pick up very quickly and start using immediately, whether you're consulting for clients or applying it to your own business or applying it to your personal life. So let's jump into what it actually stands for.
So we're out here in Italy, walking on the Via Digli Dare, 130 kilometers from Florence to Bologna. And Adam, who I'm walking with, also another Adam, asked me what I was recording back there in the video with the nice rolling hills. And I thought, why don't I explain it and also record it at the same time so that we can get it straight into the video. And so what I was teaching or talking through before is a concept that I learned from one of my mentors. And from the moment that he taught it to me, it's something that I've thought about and used every single day. What you need to know is the acronym. The acronym is VRIN, V-R-I-N. So if you're taking notes, which I recommend you do for this one, because it's that important, write down on the side of your page, V, below it, R-I-N. And what it stands for is 4 words. All you need to remember is 4 words to use this. The V stands for value. How valuable is my product? How valuable is my service? How valuable is this post I'm about to make on Instagram? How valuable am I being in the workplace? The second letter is R, which stands for rare. So rarity. How rare is what I'm providing? How rare is my Tinder profile? So far we've gone through valuable, and you can give each of these a score, 0 to 10. So 0 to 10, how valuable is what you're about to do? R, rarity. 0 to 10, how rare is what you're about to do, what you're thinking about launching, what you're thinking about saying? I, next letter, inimitable, which means how hard is it to copy? So inimitable, just think how easy is it for someone else to go and produce the same thing? So for example, taking a video on the hillside back there that you saw at the start of this has a higher inimitability because it's harder to be in a background like that. Now, obviously there's ways you can do it with green screens and things like that, but just think of inimitability as how easy is it for someone to copy and go produce the same thing. So 0 to 10, how easy is your product or service to copy? Or the Instagram post you're about to make, or your Tinder profile, or the email you're about to write, or the business you want to launch. And lastly, we're up to N, non-substitutable. What this basically means is, what are the alternatives, right? 0 to 10, what are the alternatives on the market? So I'll give you a great example. If you're using coffee, right? A lot of people think there's no alternatives to coffee. But the reality is, this morning when we sat down for breakfast, instead of a coffee, I had a tea. So a tea is an alternative to coffee. If you're looking at coffee from a beverage perspective, water could be an alternative, Coca-Cola could be an alternative. But if you're looking at it from an energy caffeine perspective, pre-workout would be an alternative. Energy drinks could be an alternative. You can have no-dose or caffeine tablets. That would be an alternative to coffee. So there's lots of alternatives. So that's just an example of alternatives for coffee. So 0 to 10, how non-substitutable is your product or service? Is the marketing that you're about to put out, your Instagram ad, your Facebook ad, your YouTube video? What are the substitutes to it? 0 to 10. So once you've done that, once you've understood the concept of VRIN, valuable, rarity, inimitability, how hard it is to copy, and non-substitutable, what are the alternatives? Then you can start to assess it in your everyday life.
So let's quickly, just to make this practical, this is one of the last pieces of the puzzle. Throw out a name of a company that we would all have heard of. Apple, Airbnb. So let's do Airbnb. I'm going to show you how this works now. So Airbnb, so valuable. How valuable is Airbnb? So what we want to do is we want to assign a score to each of these. So throw out some numbers in terms of value. How valuable is Airbnb? So you want to go to a new country, you want to live like a local, you want to live in a certain area, you might not want to be in a hotel, maybe you do, but how valuable? Who's got a number 0 to 10? 10 is, it's the most valuable thing in the world. 1 is, it's got no value. 8, 10, 9. All right, so let's take an average so we can assign a 9. It's important to be objective, especially when you're looking at your own businesses, because oftentimes I see it, people fall in love with their product, their ideas, and they give it super inflated numbers. But I'd say Airbnb probably scores an 8, 9, or 10 for valuable. It's quite a valuable offering. There's a lot of properties on there. R, so R is rarity. So how rare is a company like Airbnb, right? You can try to think, what are the competitors of Airbnb? What are the alternatives would be under non-substitutable, but in terms of a product like Airbnb where you can list your own property, you can create rental income, you can go live in someone else's house, how rare is it? 0 to 10? 6 in terms of rarity? What would be, what makes it a 6 and not highly rare?
Because you have other competition.
Like what?
There's a lot of companies now. I mean,
Yeah.
in the early days before Airbnb happened, I used to actually rent places.
Yes.
And I used to especially in Europe, try and call hours really different. It was really difficult to rent.
Yeah.
Now with Airbnb, it's really much easier, but you have a lot of other companies that are doing it as well.
Yes. Like what are some companies, some alternatives?
Sorry, some of the other companies are, oh God, I can't remember. It's like Booking.com.
Yeah, Booking's coming into the space now. And there's like VRBO or something like that, which is big in the States. But for the most part, it's hard to think of actual direct competitors to Airbnb. And definitely they're becoming less rare with things like Booking.com, things like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, especially when Airbnb started and where they are right now, in terms of ease, because you were talking about if you want to make a booking, you have to call and you can't see the properties, you don't have reviews, things like that. It scores quite high on rarity. So maybe, we could give it an 8 here. I, inimitable, so hard to copy. So how hard is it for someone to create a competitor, right? Get all the other properties listed on there, get all the legal work done, apply, comply with all regulation, which I don't think Airbnb did too much of at the beginning. Build that trust. So how hard is it to copy? 0 to 10, throw out some numbers. 9, 10, 8, maybe an 8, but could probably give it a 9 here. And then lastly, non-substitutable. So what are the alternatives? This is where Airbnb might fall short a little bit, because alternatives, we already mentioned Booking.com, like there's hotels, that's an alternative. There's, staying at friends' places, for example. So 0 to 10, let's throw out some numbers. Non-substitutable, what would we give? 5. Yeah, I'd say it's definitely above average. There's not too many options. You've got hotels out there. That's really it. So we could probably give it maybe a 7 here. So what we do now to get the total VRIN score, it's out of 10, we just take an average. So we simply just open a calculator, 9 plus 8 plus 9 plus 7 is 33. 33 divided by 4 to get your average, and it scores an 8.25. So that's the total VRIN score. So what you can do is you can go through this process with whatever it is you're assessing, your business. You want to look at your offer. You want to look at your Instagram posts, whatever it is you're doing, you can apply this framework. How valuable is it? 0 to 10. How rare is it? 0 to 10. How inimitable is it, right? How hard is it to copy? And N, non-substitutable. And most times you're going to find that you're falling short on a couple of these points, and you can start to rework what it is you're doing to increase that score. And what you'll find is, companies doing 10 billion plus generally score an 8 and above. So you want to try to get your number as high as possible. Average companies that are doing all right, you can probably get to, a couple million if you're getting a score of, 6 and above. But you want to see how can I increase that number as much as possible.
So if you found this to be a useful concept and you can see the power of it and you can start to imagine how you can apply it in both your professional and personal life, then I've got something for you. Because you've watched all the way to the end of this video, I have got a free gift that's going to go a lot deeper into how to use the VRIN score, how to apply it to different areas of your life. And in the future, I'm even going to have tools such as AI tools where it can review your Instagram, it can review your website, it can review all sorts of different things and actually give you real-time feedback based on each of the 4 letters, V, R, I, and N. So in order to claim your free gift right now, simply go to vrinscore.com/gift, and you'll be redirected to a page where you can find out all about how you can get access to the free resources that I'm providing you as a special thank you for watching this video. So I hope you've enjoyed the concept of VRIN score. I'm sure it's something new that you might not have learnt before. And so it's very important to really understand and internalize the concept of a VRIN score to actually start using it. And so you can use it based on the content you've watched in the video so far. But if you'd like to go deeper, if you'd like to learn more, if you'd like to become a top 1% user of the VRIN score, which by the way, as I mentioned, they teach it at Harvard, big consulting companies like McKinsey and many others that companies pay tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to use this concept or concepts very similar. Jeff Bezos, the billionaire from Amazon, he uses this concept or something very similar. So does Elon Musk. So do all the biggest companies in the world. 9, 10, and 11-figure companies are all using VRIN score or something along those lines. So what I want you to do is go over to vrinscore.com/gift, and you're going to get a whole bunch of free resources that you can start using immediately in your business and your personal life around VRIN score. You're really going to become an expert and a power user of VRIN score, a concept I use daily. And whenever I'm working with clients, consulting with them, running their marketing, or even launching my own products, I always use the framework of VRIN. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.